could have a dog-eared copy of Ted Williams' Signs of Hitting. He said even back then, don't swing level, swing slightly up. Well, now it's a launch angle revolution, Bill. Now it's, oh, I hit 210, but no problem, man. Check out my launch angle. I hit 24 bombs. You're going to explain to me the merits and the fallacy of launching.
Well, first of all, everyone that's ever played the game and hit a baseball has a launch angle.
Right.
Because it's nothing more than the ball coming off the bat. It's nothing to do with this.
Right.
Like this is not launch angle.
Uppercutting, right.
If this is coming level and this is coming level and you hit slightly below it, the ball's going to go up. It's not rocket science.
Right.
So that is what is defined as your launch angle. The other day I was out here talking about Eric Hosmer, who on the year right now is doing damage, right? Doing damage. His launch angle for the year thus far is negative 0.07, which almost means zero.
Right.
Which means he's squaring this baseball up and hitting an awful lot of these things, line drives. If he hits one that's 15 degrees going up, he's going to hit another one that's probably 15 degrees going down. That kind of averages out to zero.
Right.
But I'll take a guy with a zero launch angle because it means that dude's throwing it, and I'm squaring it up as square as you can with a round bat and a round ball, and you hit it square, you're hitting rockets. He also has 3 big flies, which means he's catching a few out in front, which creates a little bit of this more of a tendency for the ball to go up when he does it. So what I love about what Alex Verdugo said, hitting hasn't changed, in my opinion, Dan, from 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. He says you're taking this direct to the baseball. And your swing, my swing, your swing, has been our swing since we've been about 10 years old, maybe even before. It's what gift was given you, whether it was not so good of a gift for you or for me.
I've got Little League videos set up, and Dan's better than you think.
But what I'm saying is, I think that this launch angle thing, as you said, this craze, this revolution,
yeah.
It's one of the more misunderstood, misinterpreted, and misused phrases, because to me, launch angle itself is an irrelevant number to me.
You think, though? Because there's guys who are saying contract-wise,
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
I don't know who those guys are.
Well, let me tell you, the two most dangerous words going on in the game of baseball right now are launch angle. First of all, Billy, let's back up. Define launch angle. What is it?
It's the ball coming off the bat.
So it's
period.
It is a result.
It's a result.
But we talk about launch angle as it's a form of a swing. It's
Correct.
not the form of a swing.
No, it's not.
It's the form of a result. And yet, to me, it's the biggest cancer we right now have in the game of baseball. Forget about even the big league level. You go down to amateur level right now, and we've got guys teaching launch angle, so the natural swing a young man may be gifted with, they're beginning to change those swings even at a young level. And when we talk about the hitting fundamentals of the game of baseball, we now have to trail where the game has gone to. We're going to pull up a board of velocity right now. We're going to look at where velocity in our game has gone. Look at this. 2008, 91.9. 2021, 93.5. So Billy just talked about it. Billy, how do you hit velocity?
You have to be very short and direct to the baseball. And there better be a mindset that the barrel of this bat, whatever my swing is, has to get to the baseball as quick as you can. Strikeouts have gone through the roof because I do believe sometimes that the mentality or the approach is I've got to hit the ball in the air. Okay, now if they're thinking that, they have a tendency of doing this, which is a fundamental flaw to hitting. You don't hit the ball up in the air necessarily by doing this. But what it does do necessarily is you can't hit a rushed fastball that's up here by doing this first. Because this is going to come underneath, we're going to swing and miss, we're going to go back to the dugout and go, boy, if he'd have thrown that lower, I'd have hit it. Well, he didn't, and you didn't, and now you're sitting in the bench with another punchy. Not necessarily good, and like Dan was talking about, it's a result. We don't go to the cage and work on hitting doubles. We showed earlier, Goldschmidt's out there working bottom hand, top hand. There's not one thought in his brain, I don't believe, of saying, I'm going to hit this ball in the air. But what in the game happened when that one cookie presented itself and his swing was right, he caught it out in front, he hit the homer. His next 2 hits were a line drive and a hard ground ball. They're still hits, though. And that's what I'll take, is hits. Every now and then you catch a ball out in front and you go bridge.
The greatest hitting coaches I've ever been around, Adnan, and Billy knows this, they taught be as direct to the ball as you possibly can, create backspin on a ball. Home run's a result of a swing that is efficient to the ball that creates backspin to the ball. That's where you get your high exit velocity, is you generate the proper bat path to the ball. Now, a bat path is a process. A launch angle is not a process.
Right.
You teach bat path, an efficient bat path, and you do that differently with every single kid because everybody's made different. Long arm guys will have a different bat path than T-Rex guys. You're a little bit of a T-Rex guy, meaning your arms are a little short.
Why?
That's true. I am kind of a T-Rex.
Yeah, so, you know, again, so you create an efficient bat path
Right.
to the ball. Launch angle is not a long bat path to the ball,
Right.
is not an efficient bat path.
Because to your point, if someone said launch angle, most would think, oh, that's the way you're swinging, uppercutting the ball. That's
see,
launch angle.
That's the misconception and the misinterpretation. So when Dan's talking about a cancer in the game,
Yeah.
if some youth coach has in his mind that that's what launch angle is,
Yeah.
he's going to have 12-year-olds swinging like that. Well, the 12-year-old's not going to have success. 12-year-old's going to put a soccer ball next to his feet and go kick that. Now, is it fair to say that Hank Aaron could hit homers?
Let's take a look at Hank Aaron's swing.
Okay.
Like Hank Aaron, he's a pretty good hitter, and I think he had a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
How would you describe his bat path?
Well, I actually see the bat head on those first two actually were lower than when he made the contact, which means his barrel of his bat had to be leaving point A.
Show us that.
And
Show us that right now. Let me hold the ball here.
Right.
Where
so
he hit the ball out
Hank
front.
on those first two, he's coming down here and
Correct.
hitting this thing.
And he's creating what? He's
Backspin.
creating this kind of backspin
Right.
on every one of those balls.
And the first two look like not only did his bat head hit here, it went this way after he swung.
the ball that was up, how did he hit that ball?
Well, he went directly to it, and he hits underneath
Correct.
the baseball.
Okay, now with what's being taught in the game, take the same swing and then lag. There's no chance.
No.
There's no
It's fine.
chance you're going to catch up with any velocity unless you're not efficient with your bat path to that ball.
So the idea is, as velocity going up, and there's probably some out there in this youth world that's teaching all this kind of craziness, saying, well, Hank Aaron wouldn't hit as many home runs nowadays because they're throwing harder. No, I think he would. He might actually hit more because he's going to take point A to point B. This dude's throwing 95 instead of 90, and it's going further.
And then the other fallacy at the big league level, and you've talked about, and you can pull up these boards that you put together too, is that the best hitters in the game, they don't have a high launch angle, and yet other hitters that are really good do have a high launch angle. So it's not a one-size-fits-all for players.
This one is important to me because why I said it's an irrelevant number.
Yeah, Christian Yelich, a 5-degree launch angle.
Right, but look at this, though. These are two MVPs of their respective leagues, right? AL and NL. So why I'm saying this and why I want to point this up there, Mookie Betts' swing's probably been like that since he's 10. The same with Christian Yelich. So to try to find this number, oh, I've got to work on my launch angle. Well, what happens when a guy has a 18 and doesn't get hits? The next year he has a 12. He worked on his launch angle for the good, maybe to refine some stuff. But the key thing right there, Christian Yelich with 36 bombs.
Now look at this guy.
Well, this is fascinating. Juan Soto, that guy hits bombs. He must have a great launch angle. No, 2020, 4.3. So far this year, 4.0.
Okay.
695 slugging a year ago.
Now here's the danger of data. The danger of data is you take players that take a step down from the Juan Sotos, the Mookie Betts, and the Christian Yelich.
Yeah.
Start putting those thoughts even into major league players' heads about adjusting something in their swing to affect a result. So all of a sudden, the gifts that they may have that be really good at, instead of tinkering with bat path, you overhaul bat path, and all of a sudden things that they could do well, they no longer can do. Now they're locked up at the plate, and they're in a position where they can't hit at all. Like a coach coming in and trying to adjust his bat path of the ball to get a result of a bigger launch angle. That you might not see one of the greatest generation hitters we're ever going to see.
The idea of the ball going up and doing something. So you bunt the ball so you can see the ball coming up to home plate. But his idea is hit the ball the other way because he's letting the ball travel, which everybody talks about. He's staying on top of the ball and he's being quick. That ball right there, he caught, instead of here, he caught out here.
That's the only reason why the ball went out of the ballpark.
So you catch the ball out in front a little bit, that happens. So if you pick your spots, in that one year we showed up on the board, his launch angle spiked up to 12. Okay? He hit 34 homers. Somebody's going to say, well, see, he hit more homers.
Right.
He just led the planet last year in slugging with that 5.
Yeah.
He also led the planet in average, which we didn't put up there. But if you look at on pace, that would have been a 35 on pace thing right there. So look at this. I say this is more of a factor that maybe he got out of whack a little bit. And maybe he was hitting too frisky, and all of a sudden, if you had a pop up to the catcher, that's a 90-degree launch angle.
See, then back.
That doesn't do any good.
I'm going to date myself and say back in the day. But back in the day, when you taught hitters to be good hitters, and once they learned pitch sequences, where to hit a ball on a plate, that's when the home runs would jump. But you didn't overhaul a kid's swing from a younger age to get to that point without them going through the process of development to understand how their swing works. That's the cancer I'm talking about. That leads to the spike in strikeouts that we're seeing. We don't just see it at the major league level. You see it at the minor league level. You see it at collegiate baseball. You'll see it at travel youth baseball, which Billy's involved with. You see it everywhere across the game because too many people are focusing on the wrong fundamental things. And the end result to that is a lot of strikeouts at the big league level.
Now you don't have to believe the two of us because Thursday night I'm going to have Big Jim tell me in this building right here.
I can't wait, yeah.
And we'll probably do a drill that he likes doing, the King of the Hill, where he'll hit off the slope of the mound, purposely going this way. And I'll flip him some, and he's swinging like that because his approach is I got to hit down here to get that going. And I think he knows a little bit about hitting the ball in the cheap seats.